mind-blowing, bonkers.
It was a lot.
It was
a lot.
Just kidding. So I'm going to talk about what we were talking about before. That is the bar that's up that way. That is for Power Morphicon 2018. Come and join us. Come and join us. Oh yeah, look, you can hear me talking about that. Come and join us. Is that? I think that's before. That is. Yes. So I don't know what the fuck I was talking about.
What's happening over there?
We're talking about Power Morphicon 2018. Come and join us.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say. That bar, if you super chat us, that brings it down, and you get free Power Morphicon tickets, and you get treated as a VIP guest, and you get a date that's a Power Ranger to Angel Will Prom.
Which Power Ranger?
Well, it's one that people would like, I'm gonna assume.
Okay.
There's no bad Power Ranger. Tell me, how dare you? How dare you?
Debate for later.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Chris Kamen Lee?
No.
I'm not
Are
gonna say
you
anybody's
talking
name
about
because I
Chris
don't want
Kamen Lee?
I'm not going to say anybody's name because I don't want Chris Kamen Lee to get mad. But you talking about Chris Kamen Lee?
Wasn't that the guy who stole from Charity?
No, that's Will from over.
Yeah. Isn't that bad?
Well, is that official? Did he steal from Charity? Was he alleged stealing from Charity like an LA Laker was alleged?
Oh wow.
So did he also pay a settlement?
He might have paid a settlement. I don't know if he has enough money to pay a settlement though. But
We need to look into that.
we have the super chat feature down at the bottom of your screen. All right, Kevin's not here today, so Kevin, this one's for you, pal. Pal. I feel like Rob, pal.
Pal.
So the super chat, you know what that feature does? Keeps your comment there a little bit longer. If you want to chime in about anything pay-per-view related. By the way, this pay-per-view is called Fastlane, and I don't know why. But if you want to super chat, you can do that. Also, we have the THS Hashtaggers group. What that is a group for you fine people out there, all of you that are watching, T. Wolf, Matt, Craig, all of you that are watching, go and join THS Hashtaggers on Facebook. That keeps you up to date with all the latest geek news that I know, that you know, that I know, that you all love. That's Power Rangers, Doctor Who, that's Pokemon, that's wrestling,
Anime,
Sentai, hentai.
That too now.
Wait, that's what you said, right?
I said Sentai.
Hentai.
Same.
All right.
Same.
Okay.
And you can find out more about Tony's bestiality there too.
Nightcrawler is a mutated human.
You said it,
he
not
is
me.
not an animal. He's human.
I didn't have to
He
say
has a
it.
tail though.
Didn't even
He's
have to say it.
human.
He has a tail.
He's a human. You had a tail for like the first
Only when I used to take shits
phase
on
of your.
myself.
Oh my god.
I looked like I had a tail. But
Humans grow out of their tails in the womb, all right? But yes, we had tails.
we don't have tails.
But he also had 3 fingers.
Oh my god. Yes,
And
because
2
he's
toes.
mutated. He has a physical mutation.
And he was
blue
blue.
fur.
Yes.
That's an animal.
That's
You
so are we.
literally described-
Yes.
We are not blue.
Oh my god.
I have 5 fingers.
He's a human person.
Look at that. We got people that joined the first day. Thank you so much for your support. And also, last but not least, we got the T Public store where you can get cool geek t-shirts like Darkwing Duck. When there's trouble, you call DW. Darkwing Duck. Yeah, get your cool geek t-shirts at the T Public store. That hashtag shows T Public store. There's a ton in there. And again, if you like Doctor Who, wrestling, Sentai, anime, video games, it's all in there. But you came to talk about professional wrestling. No, you didn't. You didn't come in here to talk about professional wrestling. Because if you came in here to talk about professional wrestling, we'd be talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling. You came in here to talk about sports entertainment. And we're going to give you the best damn sports entertainment talk show out there today. We're going to talk about Fastlane. What am I pointing at? To Wrestlemania. That's what you do when you talk about wrestling. You point. So, guys, let's break down this pay-per-view a little bit. Now, look, I'm just going to give you my initial reaction. What the fuck was Vince McMahon and Triple H thinking? This was a terrible pay-per-view.
You put this on Triple H?
I'm putting it on anybody that with a position of power in the WWE. There was
Dunn, he's calling you out.
Kevin
Calling you out, Dunny.
Kevin Dunn, what are you doing, bro? Honestly, what did you guys think? I know, Tony, you didn't watch a lot of it. You saw
No, but I mean, there were some things I liked about it, I got to admit. Like
when the end credits came on, the The little logo where you know
Yeah,
it
that wasn't
shows up
bad,
there.
but I mean, okay, like Johnny and I were talking about this earlier about how like I liked parts of the six-way just because like my complaints about the Elimination Chamber match was that for a good amount of it there was just everybody just sort of like on the ground doing fucking nothing, and there was very very little of that. So at least I was entertained. Some of the bits and pieces got real fucking dodgy, but there were some bits that I liked. Yes.
Disappointing.
Yes, that's what you do. You got to get the shot. Yeah.
I'm with it. I did like parts of the six pack match.
Yeah.
There were some elements that kind of worked. I mean, you have a match with AJ Styles, like Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, John Cena, like, and then Dolph Ziggler. Like the only person there who's like you kind of have to pull them along is Baron Corbin. So something good's going to come out of that. I gotta say, like low key, I kind of like the Nakamura versus Rusev match. Even though going into it, we all knew Nakamura was going to win. We'll talk about it more later. I actually didn't mind that match at all. It kind of kept me engaged. And then Usos versus New Day. Predictable, but it was still a bit of fun.
I think the whole card was predictable to me.
Yeah, but Charlotte versus Ruby Riott, did not really enjoy the match, but the ending, kind of enjoyed it a little bit, so we can talk about that.
Also, I want to talk about, I agree with both of you actually about the six-way match. Best match of the night, I thought. We'll talk more in depth about that. I agree completely with what you said, is that this is, here, can you give this to Josh so he can answer this? It's sci-fi, or it's Nerd HQ. So we have to talk about the athleticism that went into this, I think.
Yeah.
The athleticism that went into this match was pretty good. It was pretty great. I think that the one thing that lacked on the Elimination Chamber was it was predictable, number one. But this was too. But I think that the other thing too was you knew that, what's Homeboy's name, the big guy? Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman was predictable, and he's not a great worker, but he was flying through everybody. Yeah. Whereas in this match, you had really athletic competitors. Competitors that could carry each other through it. I agree with you, maybe minus Baron Corbin. But the other five were great.
Oh, yeah.
But let's break it down a little bit. We started off with probably one. I thought it was a great opener, and this gave me hope for the pay-per-view. Rusev against Shinsuke Nakamura.
Rusev Day.
Rusev is over, man. You think he has a spot on WrestleMania?
He has to. He's super over right now. Like, Rusev Day is almost over to the point of, like, I want to say, like, I was about to say, like, the broken Matt Hardy gimmick from last year. I'm not going to go that far. But it's super over right now, so he needs to have a spot there. Like, him and Aiden English are selling the heck out of this. My only complaint about Rusev Day is, why are they still heels? Like, the crowd loves them.
The crowd loves these guys.
Exactly. Like, even though he was doing all the healer stuff, the crowd, like, they kind of booed, but you can kind of tell they're like, no, we just really want to cheer for Rusev.
But we
want to see this guy shine.
Also, the fact that it's weird because the WWE doesn't necessarily I don't feel like they are listening to the fans. They clearly want Rusev to be a face, and they clearly want Roman Reigns to be a heel. So I don't, and it's not like Roman Reigns is burning it up, selling all these T-shirts.
No, God.
So I don't understand why they're keeping him as a face. It doesn't make sense to me.
It's kind of like we talked about last time. It's kind of like he just has that look. Like, to the casual, they're trying to bring it.
He looks like Jason
Yes,
Momoa.
he does.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, low key though. But trying to say also
Not even low key.
No joke. But the thing about did you not? But I think the thing about this is that they're trying to bring back the casual fans, because right now you have the hardcore wrestling fans, but for the casual fans, people don't watch that often. He's the perfect person to bring them in, because you turn the TV on, and it's like, oh, that guy has a look. He looks like a good guy. He looks pretty cool. So
I think Roman Reigns looks like a bad guy.
Really?
Yeah, I don't trust anybody with just a goatee. Think about that.
Doctor Strange?
Exactly.
Tony Stark?
Exactly.
Oh, how dare you?
Both men you can't really trust. You think about it. It's a trope in Doctor Who. The Master always had like a goatee for the most part. It was like a thing. Like, that's a villainous thing. Steve Austin, when he went heel, is Stone Cold for the first time had a goatee. Like, it's a heel like thing.
Okay. I think you can do both. It's just that, yeah, if your crowd is already reacting to you like as a heel, then yeah, I agree. Why aren't you going ahead and...
You think you're a heel or a face?
Me?
Yeah.
Who am I paired with?
Huh?
It depends on who I'm paired with.
Like, how do you think our fans perceive you?
It depends on the show, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
So it's like the towns. The shows of the towns, I guess.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, I think I play better on some shows than
you're
others.
A heel or a face? I think you're a face.
I think I'm kind of neither. I'm kind of like
I'm
kind of like Crash Holly. I'm there and they just have fun. It's like, oh, he's there again. Yeah. He's like, oh, hope he doesn't win though.
I think it's fair to say that I'd be a heel. No? I'd be a face.
You do insult the fans sometimes.
I don't insult anybody that doesn't deserve it.
Good point. That's true.
The people that are in this room right now are pretty cool. Once you start getting these guys like Lucius, I said his name, that little idiot. No, he's fine. He's fine. I'm just giving him shit. I see. Joe's a heel. I'm a heel.
Oh damn, Joe is it?
But they
Joe's
love you
a lovable heel.
Exactly. They fucking love you for that shit. Exactly.
You're like The Rock when he goes here.
Yes.
No, I'm not like The Rock. I can't be like that guy. That guy's a legend. I'd be like the Pebble. If he's The Rock, I'm the Pebble.
But you still work $12
The
million.
People's Pebble.
You still work $12 million though.
The People's Pebble.
The People's Pebble.
But realistically, I thought it was a great starting match. Shinsuke Nakamura is athletic. It actually showed how well Rusev does. Like, I'm really happy the WWE is deciding to take a chance on Rusev. And he really got himself, I'll be honest, Aiden English got him over. And I would have never have thought that bringing in the tag team from the Vaudevillains to being just Aiden English going solo, that this would ever have happened.
No. And the thing about this is I give a lot of credit. Aiden English did help him get it over. And then Rusev himself just kind of got over his personality because people have always commented on this. He has that really like magnetic personality. He's naturally funny. He's just an overall like good guy. And the thing about this is he probably should have been over earlier, but he fell out of the good grace of the WWE after he cut his hair without permission.
Oh, Aiden English? Oh,
no,
Rusev
did.
Gotcha.
So after he cut his hair without permission, they just kind of dropped it to the back. Because remember, when he first came on, he was undefeated. He had matches with John Cena. He was mixing it up. And
super chat! We got a super chat. This wrestling pay-per-view put me to sleep by Larry Newbill.
Thank you, Larry.
Kevin Dunn had us in a sleeper hold today. It legit had me in a sleeper hold. No joke.
Oh yeah, he passed out a couple times.
He did.
I was like, Joe,
no
you still
joke.
with us? He's like,
He
kind of,
said
but I
no.
don't want to be.
It was bad.
Rusev, I give him a lot of credit. Like, he fought back. Kind of, he said, when they teamed up with Aiden English, they just naturally got over. And then they had some naturally funny moments backstage. Like, I remember the Christmas segment. There's a point where he dresses up as Santa. Aiden English dresses up as the elf. They go up to the New Day, and they're singing Rusev Day. He's like, yes, Rusev Day is good. They're like, huh? He's like, pulls on the beard. It's me, Rusev. And he's like, wait, what? It's like, this dude is just great. He has natural comedy timing. And so doing all that stuff, like, you're right. Like, him and Aiden, they got themselves over. And I've got to give them all the credit. Like, they would be faceless right now.
Never thought I would be cheering for Rusev, but I love Rusev.
I would never thought I'd be cheering Rusev Day of all things. Like,
I want a Rusev Day shirt. I'm going to get a Rusev Day shirt.
Rusev Day.
And he gets so excited about it, too. I love it. You know he loves it. Like, good on Rusev, man. He deserves it.
No, it's all about how WWE books him, though, because if they book him right, that could be your new, like, Intercontinental Champion. He could be to carry the United States Championship. He has enough juice right now. We need to maybe put a belt around him to bring some prestige back to that belt.
Well, talk about prestige going to belts. Randy Orton got a big win today against Bobby Roode. Randy Orton's won every single title the WWE has. Hell, I think he's a former women's champion. He's also a former cruiserweight champion. Randy Orton can win anything because Vince McMahon will literally have it anymore. I find Randy Orton outdated and not entertaining whatsoever anymore.
I agree. Like, I don't like, seriously, I think Randy Orton is an amazing heel. Like, when he's a heelish and he's going after the championship, he's like punt kicking people and he's a legend killer.
That's outlawed now.
Oh, yeah, true.
You can't punt kick people in the head anymore in WWE.
But when he was doing all that stuff, or when he is the heel, like, he works because he just has a natural heel face and he's kind of a jerk in real life. He's a good guy now, better than what he used to be, but he still has kind of jerkish tendencies. Follow him on Twitter and you'll see. But the thing about this is that, like, in this match, like, I was totally uninterested because Bobby Roode is also a better heel. No matter how much you try to tell me he's a face, I'm like, that's Bobby Roode. I remember he had the NXT championship. He was a heel and he was a damn good one. So I'm watching this match. I'm like, I don't have anybody in this fight. And then later on, Jinder Mahal runs out. I'm like, am I supposed to cheer? Am I supposed to boo? I have 3 heels fighting over a belt now. Man, why should I care?
Cheering for Jinder Mahal.
Yeah, you actually had to explain who Jinder Mahal was, and then you were still having to explain to me, who Bobby Roode was, just because I'm still coming to this, really new, especially with these new guys. I know who Randy Orton is, and I've enjoyed Randy
he's been
Orton
around for the last 20 years.
Yeah, and Randy Orton doesn't bother me. He doesn't thrill me, but he also doesn't bother me. So he's just kind of like
and Tony made a comment which I completely agree with. He looks better with bald.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
this whole thing with the hair,
I don't like it.
The peach fuzz, just like the fucking gel.
You know why?
Fuzz.
It's because he looks more menacing bald.
Yeah, he does,
like,
totally. Well, his whole face, and I liked that whole vibe whenever he was just straight heel, because it's like, that is you. That is your look. We don't ever need to mess with that. And when I was watching the match, and there were some entertaining bits and real, like, parts with like amazing athleticism, but honestly, I as a new viewer couldn't pick up on what was happening. I couldn't pick up on who I'm supposed to cheer for. I couldn't pick up on, I'm like, are they both heels? Or somebody supposed to, and then Jinder Mahal at the end, I was like, what is this? Because nothing is being communicated to me. And granted, that's just because I'm not aware of the context, but there also has to be an element where if I am your brand new viewer, something has to kind of clue me in. And there was just, yeah.
Is it weird to say that Randy Orton versus Bobby Roode is your P-break match?
See, the problem with it is we're about to talk about the next match.
Yeah.
And that's a long P-break. And that's kind of the problem, because I don't think this was supposed to be our P-break match. I think Nakamura was supposed to Rusev, was supposed to wake us up. Rude versus Orange was supposed to like, kind of carry us through. And sadly enough, I think the women's tag match was supposed to be our
think everything except the last match is your P-break,
I think
honest.
Randy Orton is the master of the headlock, though.
Yeah.
And
he is.
He's also, I mean, I got to give Randy Orton a lot of credit on this. I didn't even think this was even possible. But Randy Orton is the master of the sleeper hold through a television screen, because he put me to sleep. I couldn't even believe that was even a possible thing. But it happened. It happened at this pay-per-view. Randy Orton could. I felt like it was in Wrestlemania, and he had me in one of those headlocks. I know how it feels.
He's not lying. Joe was just sitting there. I had to keep Joe was like, Joe? And the arm kept going down. Joe? Come on. Joe, fight it. Oh, he's fighting back. Come on, Joe.
That's what happened with Randy Orton. I mean, you can't. It's not good.
Yeah, unless somebody was flying through the air, I didn't care.
Yeah. See, like, here's the thing. Like, for example, the way to switch this pay-per-view around, switch those opponents. So instead of having Rude versus Orton, have Rude goes against Rusev. And make Rude a heel. All of a sudden, it's like Rusev Day versus Glorious.
I like that.
It's like, that's a lot more entertaining. And you have Orton versus Nakamura. Obvious Face versus Obvious Hill. And then they can just put on, like, a match of the year type deal, like an exhibition match, where they just go all out and have some fun with it.
Matt leaves a great comment. Joe should tag with Bobby Roode and make a new beer money. I like it. Yeah, Randy Orton is very boring, Craig Anderson. All right, let's move on to our next match. Women's division. Now, one thing the WWE has been on a hot streak with is the women's wrestling. And I'm not going to take anything away from these ladies in SmackDown, but I don't think this match was great. We had Becky Lynch and Naomi taking on Carmella and Natalya.
Yeah.
Tony, or either one of you, give me your opinions on this.
I would have to say that this is disappointing. The reason why is because this match kind of came out of nowhere.
I think it was thrown together last week.
Yeah, really. And there's no story going into it. And the reason why this is really, really disappointing is Carmella. Carmella is our women's Money in the Bank winner. We saw when Seth Rollins had the Money in the Bank Money in the Bank, he was like pushed all the time. He was like on TV. He was on pay-per-views. He was involved in storylines. He had feuds. He had things going on for him. He had bodyguards. But with Carmella, they had something at first, but then now they kind of dropped the ball and kind of forgot about her because they've been doing this whole Asuka thing, this like Sasha Banks, Bayley angles and all this stuff going on right now. They forgot about your Money in the Bank champion, who's like, you need to keep putting on TV. You got to keep her relevant. You got to show why you gave her this opportunity. But right now, they're not doing that. And you're throwing in this like random tag team that legit was like, okay, this is kind of a pee break. In addition to that, I also say they're wasting Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch is one of the best women wrestlers on this roster. No, she's one of the best wrestlers on this roster. But
she's not done anything with her.
She is so underutilized right now. And only that, though, we got to remember, Becky Lynch gives that international audience, too, because she's from Ireland. So they like a lot of fans tune in for her. But right now, they're just dropping the ball. She needs the actual feud to be in, and they're not doing anything. They're actually wasting the women's division a little bit on SmackDown.
I actually wish that it was Becky Lynch taking on Ruby Riott or one of the Riott Squad in this pay-per-view. Because I think Becky Lynch can shine. And it's unfortunate for Carmella because I like Carmella's gimmick. I don't know if she's up there with the ring skill yet, and she's very attractive. However, she has the look that WWE likes, so I get it. But I think she won the first women's Money in the Bank, which is historic. But at the same time, kind of bad luck because this year alone, you got the first women's Royal Rumble. Yeah. You get the first women's Elimination Chamber, and you get Ronda Rousey, and you get Asuka all in the same year. It almost puts the women's Money in the Bank at the bottom of that line.
Yeah.
And which kind of goes to the point, because I give Carmella a lot of credit. Like, I agree with you. She has a look. She's got some decent in-ring ability and whatnot. Like, her finisher, that little like leg thing she does, is actually kind of cool. Hard to get into, but it's fun to watch. I think the problem with this is that she should have been the first women's Money in the Bank winner. Like, the first women's Money in the Bank winner probably should have been Becky Lynch, maybe
Straight Fire.
Exactly. Like Alexa Bliss, like somebody else who has this little bit more in-ring ability and a little bit more like pizzazz to them. Like, right now, she's still in that learning stage. She should have been the first winner.
Yeah, I started to watch this, and I probably got into like the first 2 or 3 minutes, walked away, and then I started talking to somebody else, and it didn't even occur to me that maybe I need to go back to the match.
Did you feel the glow with Naomi?
The entrance was cool, but honestly, after the first 2-3 minutes, I literally wandered off. And when I came back, I said, "Hey, Johnny, what I missed?" And he was like, "Not much. This is literally the most that we talked about it all night, and we were sitting next to each other for the whole thing."
It's sad that we talk about the entrances being the highlight of this match.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Becky Lynch's entrance is amazing. I love that theme music. And I gotta say, for Naomi, I like her entrance, but I think it's got kind of lazy though. Because I remember when she first did it, she does this whole, like, the raver thing and everything like that. She used to come out straight shuffling. And she would, like, hit the footwork and everything like that when she was first doing it. Now she comes out, she just, like, raises her arms a little bit, like, wiggles her butt, twerks a little bit. And then,
dude.
well, no, she would just do it at the beginning. She would shuffle right there, and then she would run and slide. And it was like, that is dope. You are a dancer. And now it's just like, oh, you're just kind of mailing it in. Well, she was a professional dancer.
Huh?
She was a professional dancer.
Which club?
Wow.
Wait,
Nope.
what are you talking about?
Nope.
Let's go sip this tea.
Can't wait till she comes on this show.
Not trying to get an Uso fist in the face.
Gonna heel all over her.
I don't know who she's married to, if it's Jimmy or Jay, but Uso's coming.
One of the Russos. Joe Russo? For Infinity War? All right, so we got speaking of the Russos, we got them it's the Usos. We have them against the New Day in the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. I will say this about the Usos. They have been on fire right now as a tag team. Right now, they are dominating SmackDown all up until the end of this match.
Yeah.
This match was actually pretty good, though. Right?
Yeah. I gotta say, I like this match a lot. Like, it was really dope. Like, again, it kind of came together like last minute within like the last 2 weeks. But the build that they did have for it, the little bit they did, I love that whole segment they did where the Usos are talking about like for the last 10 years they've missed out on WrestleManias. And I was like, oh snap, they really have missed out on WrestleManias. I totally forgot they were on the sidelines. And they say that this year was their time. This year they weren't gonna be held back. But then I love the way the New Day cut. It's like, no. We didn't wait for an opportunity. We saw what was on the field. We ran out there and took what was ours. I was like, oh shit, damn, Big E, this sounds inspirational right now. And so he kind of like, they sold me on this whole attitude going into the match. And then when the match happened, like we kind of called it early on though. We kind of said we kind of knew where this is going. They're going to wrestle and the Bludgeon Brothers are going to come out and just interrupt this whole thing. So the predictability of it kind of ruined the match.
Also with go ahead, do you have something?
No, I missed out on this. And
you like guys with beards as well.
Or goatees.
Oh, it's cool if you're an animal. But
oh my god, it depends on the beer.
Not
my
so
goodness,
much. Got
depends on the beer. But anyways, no. Like I said, I wandered away, got preoccupied with another conversation, came back, and this is actually the moment that I came back on when the Bludgeon Brothers were already out, and I said, "Johnny, what's happening?" And he was like, "Not much." And he's like, there was a cool bit here where they were doing each other's moves and each other's finishers.
Yeah, they were doing each other's like moves and finishers.
Yeah, and I'm like, that sounds cool, but honestly, literally, like the whole room was just like, well, that was a thing, that was a match.
I mean, this was kind of set up. I feel like this was telegraphed all throughout SmackDown, so you kind of knew what was going to happen here. I will say, the New Day has seized their moment. That's a Coco reference for all of you Disney fans out there. But they actually took a great opportunity and did something cool. Because you have to imagine, when you're pitched a gimmick like the New Day, Vince McMahon calls you in, hey, I got an idea, guys. You're all black, and we got this thing. Like, I can imagine this is how Vince does things, right? So, and then it's like, well, this is a thing that wasn't necessarily ever meant to get over. But those three dudes are so creative and they vibe so well that they got it over and made it their own. And now, and I would even say last year they were hosting WrestleMania. Last year they were on fire and like they were amazing. And they have created their own opportunity. So good on the New Day.
They have.
The one thing I will say about the WWE is I guess it does offer opportunity. You just got to take that and run with it, and they did. With that being said, though, I think that there's no team better right now. At least on SmackDown, than the Usos. If the Usos And by the way, the New Day's selling when the Bludgeon Brothers came out and beat the crap out of those guys.
Yeah.
Like you saw Xavier Woods like seizuring on the stairs. I mean, I think they were selling the hell out of this.
He just kept seizing. They would cut away, come back, still season. We went and got chips, came back, still season. Went to the bathroom, came back, like, oh Jesus, is this real?
Oh my god!
And they came out with these giant like Thor-like sledgehammers,
God.
and I thought that they were gonna like bash his brains in.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. Those sledgehammers look like Muppet props.
Yeah.
Like it looks like some Fozzie would be using on Kermit or something. I'm just like, you guys not invested budget this at all. Triple H's sledgehammer looked way realer than this.
You know the reason behind this though, right?
Why?
Because they didn't want people to confuse it with Triple H's sledgehammer.
So that's
so
why.
they went to the local carnival. You know the thing that you do that?
Is that what that is?
That's what that is.
So they got it on discount too, probably.
Yeah.
Well done.
They
Let me
got it
ask you
from
this.
Carney. Mhm.
What do you think about the Bludgeon Brothers gimmick? What do you think
I
about
like it. You know, the WWE never had direction for those guys. I always liked both of those guys. More so Luke Harper. I thought Luke Harper has a lot more personality, and I feel like they've always tried to push him, but I feel like this finally caught on in something that works. And those guys don't talk. They're just badass dudes with giant beards and Thor's hammer. Two of them.
Pretty much. I gotta agree. Like, when they first showed up, I was like, this is kind of a dumb gimmick. But tonight, they kind of sold me up because the hammers are still dumb to me. I'm sorry. The hammers look ridiculous. But I love the way they wrestle, though. Like, I love the whole, what they sell, the physicality of it. The way they, like, smack each other in the face, they get each other motivated. I liked how it was like they were taking out the Usos. They slam one Uso on the ground. They pick another Uso up, throw him on top of that Uso. But then they slap each other and pick one of themselves up and throw Luke Harper on top. Like, oh, no fucks are given. Oh, God.
Do you think that their gimmick's more like Vikings, like that show Vikings? Or
Yeah.
Like, I what? Guys, come in here. Last night I watched a show. Vikings. Sledgehammers. Oh, yeah.
They're like, we're Scottish.
And then you pick the other one up and you slam them down. Oh, yeah.
You'll come in on a ship. Vince, we film on land. You'll come in on a ship. Oh, shit.
If they ever get the big push at WrestleMania, just imagine them on a ship that you see at a high school play, and the other one holding the other one like Titanic.
And then somebody roll.
Oh my God.
Roll.
That'd be great.
Oh,
and
man.
I love it. We'll call you the Bludgeon Brothers. That's Vince McMahon. It's totally what he does. But
Yeah.
Spell bludgeon.
these guys,
Don't worry about it.
These guys look. Their style is brutal. I dig it, but I have a feeling they're setting up for two hard-hitting tag teams coming in WWE soon. That is War Machine, who just recently signed from Ring of Honor, and who we already have in NXT right now, the Authors of Pain.
Yeah.
So I think we're looking at some epic, hard-hitting matches that could be boring as shit, or they could be really, really good, depending on it's a fine line.
Honestly, that's what kind of worries me because these gimmicks are all running so close together.
Yeah.
Because they're all big guys who kind of like smash into each other. So you have the Bludgeon Brothers, you have the Authors of Pain, you got War Machine. I'm just kind of like, these are all kind of the same thing. And so that's the only thing that kind of worries me too. Because also with big guy matches, they can't go on that long.
Nah, this
like,
is
like we saw with Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman. Kind of came. We saw there that they had to make that quick because they get tired so fast.
Big Show and Braun Strowman. Like, I hate watching big guy matches because for that exactly.
Yeah.
It's
a lot of posturing, and then once it's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of property damage. I mean,
It's a Roman candle. Like, ooh, okay, great.
Exactly.
Never mind.
Never liked Roman candles anyway. All right, let's move on to our next.
Wizard fights with them though.
Did you?
You take like the Roman candle.
I'm not a big fan of fireworks though.
Really?
I don't like them. I think they're a legit waste.
You don't
of
like
money.
fireworks or pizza? What is happening with you?
Well, I'm not from Florida. Fireworks aren't a thing.
What?
In California, I mean, look, here's the deal. Fireworks.
First off, fireworks weren't invented in Florida.
I think fireworks. I think fireworks are dumb. You know why? It's literally watching your money burn.
Whose money is burned? It's not your money.
I'm talking about the Roman candles. Definitely are your money because you.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, I don't like them. Like, I'll watch my friends light fireworks, watch them spend their $50, and then laugh when they ask me to buy them a beer at the bar later on that night. Because you know what? It's like, you should have saved your money for the... Oh, look at that. I got another super chat. Woo!
Fireworks?
Joe's Vincent Kennedy McMahon's voiceover. Perfect. Oh, yeah. VKM. Oh, yeah. VKM like that shit. Oh, yeah. Give it to me.
Thanks, Larry.
God.
All right.
But wait, can't you apply that same logic to most things?
No.
Yeah, because you'd be like, oh, we went to a Laker game. You spent money on this, and they lost again.
It's an experience, though. And the...
Fireworks an experience.
Here's
you
the
apply that
difference.
same logic to the strip club.
Here's the difference.
You spend the
I don't
money,
like
you
strip
watch
clubs
it
either.
dance
You're
away.
right. You're right.
What is happening?
I don't dig
Bye,
strip-
Stardust.
I don't like strip clubs, but I will say, at least with the Laker game, you get more likes for taking the picture on Instagram than you would on a shitty Roman candle. So,
but if you have a wizard fight, you get more likes.
Wizard fights are weird. Number one.
You don't like wizards?
Well, I didn't say that. I'm not really into wizards. I think
Harry Potter?
No, I've never seen. I've only seen like the first 3 movies. I'm not a Harry Potter guy. This is a wrestling show, not a Harry Potter guy. Magician. Harry Potter is a magician. Let's get it.
All right.
He's a okay. We'll talk
Does he have a wand? Does he say magic words? Does he make things disappear?
What is
magician?
happening?
So let's move on to Charlotte and Ruby Riott for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Oh, this is where we take our pee break? Because I think
this is where we take our pee break.
Can we just get to Asuka? Seriously.
Yeah, honestly, this match was lackluster, and I'm a little surprised. Though Charlotte did do a dope backflip that she kind of missed.
The moonsault.
The moonsault backflip thing. But lackluster for me.
Yeah, like the problem with it is, though, is I was like saying as we were watching this match, Ruby Riott, my skills, on point. She's pretty good. Her whole gimmick, her whole look, that's just naturally her. It's on point. Problem with it is, though, is that her in-ring ability is not quite there yet because she needs to work on that. So that's why, like we were talking earlier, I think you said it was like Becky Lynch probably should have had a match with like one of the Riot Squad. That should have been this match because Becky Lynch is great at carrying people. She's great at walking through the spots, and you got to save Charlotte for like your bigger threats type deal. So even though I know you need to put the champion on this match, having her go against Charlotte was kind of a waste because, again, it's just like Charlotte's just like wrestling circles around her, and you know who's going to win.
What do you think she's measuring in that picture that we're looking at with Charlotte there?
Vince.
Oh, is that what you think of me? Oh, you're losing the title at WrestleMania. That is an interesting screen cap, I would say.
It really is.
Hey!
Oh, people pointing. Hey, that's what this picture is.
Hey, if it's
all about.
Asuka doing anything, I'm hyped.
Yeah.
What is Charlotte doing? I don't get it. Like, what is
Going
she?
Super Saiyan?
Yeah, what is going on right there? But here's the thing. I will say, if the WWE did surprise us on anything, it was this moment right here. I did not expect to see, because it feels like we've been building and building and building towards Asuka and Alexa Bliss. Now,
Raw, yeah, they've been hinting at it a lot.
Now I get one of my other WrestleMania dream matches. I get Charlotte and Asuka.
Yeah, I gotta be honest though. Like, this WrestleMania season has been really weird because I can't really call any of the matches right now. It's like usually at this point you have a good idea of like who's going to wrestle who, but right now, aside from Roman and Brock, oh god, why? I mean, we really don't know who's going to wrestle anybody. In
fairness, when we watched the Royal Rumble, I did call that this was going to be the match.
I believe it too because you got to think about it. Charlotte's like one of your best wrestlers in the company. She's got the belt. Asuka's amazing. She's undefeated. If you put Asuka against Alexa Bliss, I mean, all respect to Alexa Bliss, her mic skills are phenomenal. Her character's amazing, but we know she's not going to be Asuka. Yeah. So, but with this one, there's some doubt here. Charlotte could be the one that give her first loss. So, I mean,
do you think that will actually be how it plays out, though?
I hope not, because I would love to see Asuka get the belt, and then let's hope it happens like at SummerSlam or somewhere else because it can kind of carry on for a little bit longer. But yeah, I want this like to go on a little bit longer. I mentioned this to Kevin when I was on the wrestling show. I think it was the week before last week or last week. I don't remember when it was. But I said that the march to WrestleMania, it's kind of strange because WrestleMania should be your accumulation. It should be your Avengers Infinity War. It should be what everything's leading up to, so you get the payoff for the biggest event that you have. Now, I can understand that with Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles, because it's a match everyone's wanted to see ever since they wrestled 3 years ago in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I get that. However, it feels like WrestleMania now, more so, is matches that get thrown together at the very last minute that are big-time matches, but don't get the build-up. And then it doesn't matter anyway, because on the subsequent pay-per-view after, you get the fallout and the rematches there anyway. Right. So it's not necessarily starting a season over, where this should be your season finale and then go into a new season. And I think this is what we're getting at WrestleMania now. And I agree with you. I think part of the problem is, and a lot of people have been talking about this online recently, is a problem because your main matches, you're building your main events between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. And one, people don't want this match. People aren't really excited for it, so that kind of hurts the match itself. Two, Brock Lesnar's on this UFC tip right now, where he's taking pictures with Dana White, so it's also like, is he even going to be here? And we all remember what happened the last time he was about to leave and he did a WrestleMania match, where he just totally phoned it in and didn't care, so there's that potential as well. And then Roman Reigns, again, like most people know about it, there's still the whole steroid scandal, where apparently somebody might have some footage from actually buying steroids, so he might actually end up getting banned. So it's like, even that match isn't guaranteed. So I think they'll kind of leave everything else in limbo till they actually have a plan. Well, also, I will say this about the WrestleMania card so far.
I think that it's stacked for any kind of wrestling fan because you do get your sports entertainment match, which is Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, your classic WWE match. Then you get your hardcore wrestling fan match, which is Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles. And then you get this great women's match that we're going to see Asuka and Charlotte. So it's catering. WWE is doing a great job right now of catering to all the different sects of wrestling. And I'm sure you're going to get your Ring of Honor style match with the Cruiserweight, whatever get the crescendo with that tournament. So you get all this different style. It's just the things that are leading. Like, you're right. Nobody wants to see Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar.
No, and the problem is that also during this time period, you always kind of buy for your WrestleMania moment. Like last year, at last year's WrestleMania, we all kind of talked about it, and we were all hoping for it, but when the Hardys came back, stole the show. And that was like really exciting.
I thought last year was a lackluster WrestleMania, though.
I feel you. I can see that. But that's why I said the Hardys coming back was kind of like the WrestleMania moment of last year. But this year, going into it, like I really can't call a WrestleMania moment. There's also no big premieres I'm really excited for. Like we've talked about War Machine, but I'm like, I don't really think they'll premiere on WrestleMania. Neither will Authors of Pain. So
EC3, Ricochet.
You think so?
No. But they're in NXT. They're doing that NXT championship match.
Yeah.
It's the NXT and North American title that they were introducing.
So it's kind of a weird time. And also, we haven't even talked about it, but the Cruiserweights have kind of disappeared from all of wrestling right now, too.
Yeah.
Triple H runs that completely.
I know, but they're not even showing up on Raw right now. That's just crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what's
I don't even know who the champion is or anything.
There's no champion.
Oh, there isn't?
No, they're doing a tournament right now that's determining the champion. And the finals are going because they've stripped Enzo Amore the title because of rape allegations. Allegations that I don't know, but he's gone. They fired him from the company, and good on you, WWE, by the way, for taking a stand against rape, which I think is good. The LA Lakers probably should have learned a lesson.
should have.
All right, so
the only allegations though settled out of court, but
with what WWE is offering everybody right now, I think that it's good. It's good, but I wish that we would get because there's other matches that I think people have wanted to see, like the Triple H Kurt Angle whole Stephanie McMahon Ronda Rousey thing.
Yeah.
That's going to be a spectacle because it's Ronda Rousey's first in-ring debut, which I get.
But I'm so worried about though.
I am too.
Because we haven't really talked about it yet. But the thing that kind of worries about this though, Triple H and Kurt Angle, that'll be fine. They know how to do this. This will be amazing. But Stephanie McMahon, Ronda Rousey, I'm like, okay, so you have Ronda who's new to wrestling. You have Stephanie who doesn't really wrestle. Who's carrying who through that match?
I don't know.
And the problem is, I think the way that it was booked, because I know people were talking about this shit out of The Rock and Ronda Rousey. Kurt Angle, Ronda Rousey work, but it shouldn't be Triple H or Stephanie. Someone else should be in Stephanie's place. Like this, when you bring in like Ruby Riott, or you bring in somebody else, somebody
that can work.
Exactly, yeah. Someone who they've turned.
Maybe a Becky Lynch heel turn.
Exactly, or like if Paige never got injured, Absolution is there, and so that way they're like beat up on Ronda leading up to this and everything like that.
Becky Lynch heel turn would work here mainly because her finisher is an armbar as well.
True, but I don't think Becky. Seriously, I don't know how Becky would do heel though.
I think she'd be fine.
She's a very natural face. Like she makes puns, and like you follow on Instagram, she's always joking. I'm like, I'd be interested to see how she would do it.
I don't know. I don't think Bayley could be a heel either. All right.
No. But did you see the cover of her tights this last week? She was wearing the red and black, and she didn't hug Sasha, even though Sasha went for the hug. They might be trying to make Bayley heel.
I hope so.
I want to see how she do it.
Next up, we have the main event of the night. It was Baron Corbin against Dolph Ziggler facing off against WWE champion AJ Styles, the Machine himself, John Cena, Kevin Owens, and probably the best wrestler in the world right now, Sami Zayn.
I don't know how to do this for Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn does that dumb little dance. Yeah.
Yeah. There it is.
How's it go?
Something like that. This match actually lived up to expectation. May have been better than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And deserved the main event spot. Nothing stole the show besides this match. And this is exactly what WWE probably wanted, is having a good main event. But at the same time, you got 5 great workers and Baron Corbin. So that's probably why this match was so good. Now, what was some of the most impressive spots you saw here, and talk to me about like each person's performance and what you liked and what you didn't like, and so on and so forth.
I mean, first off, I got to props to John Cena. That opening part when he just kind of like slams everybody, clears out the ring, and it's just him and AJ. They're like squaring off again. It's just like, okay, this is nice. Like, I like this because AJ and John have great chemistry in the ring.
They do.
So starting off that way was like really smart. It brought back memories for the crowd of those other 2 matches they've had, as well as the SmackDown match they had the other night. So you can't go wrong there. So I think they had a really great start to it. The storytelling was like really strong as well because like you had Baron Corbin trying to like power through people and whatnot. So that was cool. You had Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, their whole storyline. Can we like spoil and jump to that real quick?
Yeah, why not?
Because you had Sami Zayn lean up and was like, I'll take the fall for you. I'll take the fall for you. And then Kevin's like, really? Really? So he goes for the roll, and then all of a sudden Sami rolls him up, and then they're going at each other again, which is like, okay, this is awesome. So we saw a little bit of betrayal here. But then the big point for me was kind of like blew me away. Tony actually called this because like I was catching up when I was like, no, Shane is out here to make sure the match is fair.
And what did
to make
I
sure
say,
everything
Johnny?
is credible. That's why he's here, because he's Shane. And then
What did
all of
I
a
say,
sudden,
Johnny?
Kevin Owens is going for that pin. 1, 2, pulls him out. Was like, whoa, okay. And he's like, no, you don't get this. And all of a sudden, Sammy goes for the pin. 1, 2. Shane's like, nope, you don't get it either. And I was just like, okay, Shane gives no fucks right now. Like, he just really
When did
hates
he
the two
ever?
guys.
I know I've been gone for a long while, but whenever you were like, no, he's out here to make sure it's a fair fight. I'm like, I'm sorry. You're talking about, this is Shane, right? Because, I mean, honestly, Shane looks very different from what I remember. Because I still remember little baby face, like, straight out of his, like, early 30s. Shane.
Oh, yeah. Young Shane.
Yeah. Yes, that guy. So when you said, yeah, he's here to make sure it's fair, I'm like, first off, I've been gone a good long fucking while, if that's what's happening here. And then it happened, and I was like, okay, so I guess things don't really change all that much. So that was a good feeling.
Not at all.
Where was Daniel Bryan?
I agree. Where was Daniel Bryan?
Yeah.
After he pulled him out the second time, I was ready for the yes, him to come out. I was like, no, Shane, you don't do this.
I was
But
hoping they
he was
announced a
totally
new
not
commissioner,
there.
Ernest the Cat Miller, because somebody better call his mama. But also, can you pull up a picture of John Cena in this match? I want to bring up a good point about John Cena. Once we get a picture up, I got to give a lot of credit to John tonight. Because one thing I really like about John is nobody rocks neon green armbands and wristbands like the Ultimate Warrior and John Cena.
Sweatpants.
So I got to give him some credit. It doesn't match whatsoever. And who wears jorts in 2018? That's another thing I got to give credit to John Cena. Kevin,
Does Stone Cold
John
still
Cena
wear
and
the?
Kevin Smith.
Does he still rock the jorts?
I think he just comes out in jeans at this point. I think he realizes the jorts were a phase.
And then the other question is, like, just look at his ring gear. What are those?
Seriously.
I am sorry. People have deals with Jordan, Nike, Champ Sports, and the WWE right now. What is John Cena wearing on his feet?
Penguin
what is
just
he
got
wearing?
into making wrestling attire, so Penguin is now the official distributor of John Cena.
Wait, really?
Kmart exclusive tap-out shoes, I believe.
You're fucking kidding.
They're
Is this
the
real?
John Cena tap-out shoe.
He made it for like kids that can afford shoes.
Oh, that's sweet of John.
Okay.
I shouldn't make fun of the
yeah.
guy.
So
I mean,
goddamn. Oh.
Shaq did it first,
So
but
sweet.
okay. He did.
Shaq was also a genie
Shaq
first, too.
released his shoe. He put it in Payless. It was like only
Oh, he
$20,
did. He
$25.
did.
Yeah, so
and
people
there
go
was
buy
one
it.
with the swirl.
Yeah.
And it looked like you'd get confused when people were running.
Exactly. You
You'd
like get
hypnotized.
hypnotic by it and everything
Yeah.
like that. Him and the penny. They have the same like thing.
Well, I enjoyed Cena much more in this one than I did in Elimination Chamber because, yeah, I was so fucking bored by Elimination Chamber, and I usually am not bored by John Cena. And was that just an off match?
For
At the
John?
at the last
I think
pay-per-view?
from everything I was told, the Asuka match stole that show, and so did the Women's Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, I remember.
So,
Yeah.
I didn't actually see the Women's Elimination Chamber. This match, though, I am.
But as someone who's trying to jump back into wrestling now, and I've been away for like, at least like a good 6, 7, 8 years. Is this match more indicative of who John Cena is as a wrestler today?
I think it's more.
Or is this just a really good night for him?
I think it's the guys that he was in there with. I
Okay.
really do. I think that, and it's interesting because he worked with 5 completely different guys from the Raw side and 5 completely different guys from the SmackDown side. And if you really think about it, John Cena is really the only common denominator that was in both of those matches on both rosters. I think I think historically SmackDown has been known for being the workhorse show, and I think this goes to show that. Kevin Owens, Dolph Ziggler, Sami Zayn, John Cena, AJ Styles, and Baron Corbin are better in the ring as a whole than, and I hate to say, I even hate putting Finn Balor in this, but Finn Balor, Braun Strowman, The Miz, And what's the guy with the beard? Damien Sandow, or not Damien Sandow? What's his name?
Walk with Elias. So
yeah, Elias,
yeah.
and whoever else the fifth guy was that was in that match.
No, I agree with you. I'm sorry, I spaced out there for making
Is that Roman?
John Cena shoes. Those shoes are ugly as hell.
Yeah,
I'm
they
cool
are.
for selling for kids, but damn, I feel bad.
We might have some
not cute.
breaking news actually. On WWE news right now. I'm going to check on this. Jeff Hardy was just arrested and he was arrested while driving while impaired.
Oh no! Come on, Jeff, not again.
So, according to PW Insider, injured WWE star Jeff Hardy was arrested in Cameron County, North Carolina, on March 10th for driving while impaired. According to the Caribous County Sheriff's Office, Hardy was arrested at 10:20 on Saturday night. And was released from jail about an hour later at 12:24. Following the arrest, Hardy was served with, his license got taken away. He's scheduled to appear in court on April 16th. Do you think this is going to hurt any? PW has reached out to WWE for a statement on this developing story, and we'll keep you updated. That's going to hurt.
That's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Because I know they wanted to bring him back as brother Nero, and the worst part about that is they didn't say DWI, driving while like intoxicated, driving while impaired, which means
This could be
sadly,
a drug.
He's doing drugs again, yeah.
A drug offense.
Which means he could be leaving for a while because they don't want to put that guy like that on TV, especially with the PGR right now. So
Yeah.
that could be really bad, especially for So
This is really bad news if they were doing that big broken or awoken Matt Hardy. What was the match that they were going to do? The Ultimate Deletion.
Yeah.
We already did it. It's filmed.
Oh, so the filming's done.
Okay.
For that, so hey, this could hurt though. The push.
It really could because I think Jeff was getting ready to come back too. So if
Brother
he's in
Nero,
that,
yeah.
so that could hurt as well. So hopefully, fingers crossed. Hopefully, it won't be that bad. But
Yeah.
poor Jeff.
Yeah.
But going back to your original point, like I agree with you. Like the thing about this is like these guys on this match card tonight had way more in-ring chemistry than the 5 guys from Elimination Chamber.
And
Just
better
the
stories.
energy that they were bringing
Yeah.
to the. I mean, just oh god, just like there was very little in the way of like just posturing or just filling up the space just with nothing. Even when there wasn't like a whole lot physically happening, like with the whole Kevin Owens and I'm sorry, who's the other guy's name?
Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn. I totally bought into it, and I was even like, okay, what is happening? And you had to like explain everything, the context and the history with those two, and I was totally intrigued. And this is the first time I've seen the both of them actually compete. So I really like the match. Didn't fucking love the whole Shane thing right in the middle. That's when I kind of felt like, all right, what's happening? We're not even having a match at this point. It's just fucking shenanigans. And but once we got over that point and went back to an actual match, I actually really, really like this match.
Do you think it's the format of the match though? Because the Elimination Chamber is a person entering one by one, whereas it's all 6 starting at the same time.
Well, no, it's just because obviously, it's these guys who actually decided like we're gonna make something happen.
But
We're gonna have some really great moments. I don't think the same care was put into that Elimination Chamber fight because it was just literally like it's like a really shitty martial arts film where it's like it's just gonna be one at a
But
time.
it's a little higher drama though because you get single elimination, so it's like okay, who's gonna make it to the end? Whereas this one is a little bit like, well, it's only one pinfall, so you kind of have to go a little quicker because everybody. It's the whole chase thing. Like I can't let this guy pin the other guy. It's a little bit of a faster paced match.
But you could still go ahead and decide
100%.
like because the format allows for a slower pace. Then you have to actively decide, like, we have to fill the time. We have to go ahead. We have, what is it? Like, so, because it's the timed elimination, whenever they open
like
up
every
the
5
pods.
minutes someone else comes out.
We have, how many minutes you have to fill. You know that beforehand. Why aren't you trying to figure out what you can do in order to make those 5-minute increments or 2-minute increments, however long it is in between, the pods opening? Why aren't you trying to make that amazing and entertaining? Because I don't feel like, I never got that was, the intent behind it. It was just sort of like, let's see how we can get to the end.
Yeah. And I think that the problem with the two is that, like, SmackDown had better stories going in. Like, we've seen this Shane, Kevin Owens, this Sami Zayn, the Yep storyline going for a while now, so we were invested in that. Baron Corbin's been on this championship title match for a while, so that's been plugging away. John Cena's whole road to WrestleMania thing has been there for a while. And then Dolph Ziggler being crazy Dolph Ziggler, like with record scratch or whatever. This has been going on for a while, so there's a lot more storylines here.
Is that his gimmick? Just a record scratch?
It's like a record scratch because he doesn't want to come up theme music, but then his theme music turns on. It's like, but you're still coming out, but okay, Dolphy, whatever you say.
What I don't understand most mad at Dolph Ziggler, though, is that there's no explanation on why he just left the United States title in the ring, and he's never addressed that ever since.
Well, I think that was, again, a story botch, because I think the whole purpose of it was at that next pay-per-view, when Bobby Roode had the open challenge, Dolph was supposed to come out, but they had to finish his contract negotiations yet. So that's the reason why I think they kind of wanted to wait for that. But yeah, like, every one of this match tonight had much more story. And I think the other problem with, like, the Raw side was you had some amazing workers in there, but you just kind of threw people in there. You just kind of say, oh, hopefully they'll have a great match. Seth Rollins, amazing worker. Finn Balor, amazing worker.
Your favorite, The Miz?
I love The Miz. He's great on the mic. He's really improved in the ring. He's not the greatest worker, though. Like, he will do what he can, but he's not the greatest worker, though. So I think that's kind of the problem, is that you didn't have enough, like, great workers in that match. And plus, with the Raw side, you have Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman's going to beat on people. Yeah, he's going to throw you through glass and did all this stuff. And then you got Roman Reigns, and like, Roman Reigns' moveset is, like, granted, like, everyone guys is, like, kind of predictable, but Roman's is just so, like, generic. It's like, want to come out? Oh, Superman punch. Big dog. Oh, it's just like, okay, flip my hair back because it's always wet with baby juice or whatever. Baby
juice, huh?
Baby oil, sorry.
That's weird.
Baby juice, New Day's bringing it out.
Like I said before, though, I definitely think that Roman Reigns is the modern day Kevin Nash. Like, he is the modern day. Like, Kevin Nash is the same thing. He had 6 moves, did a fist thing, powerbomb, kick you in the stomach, powerbomb, match.
Do you really think Roman has, like, even a personality like close to
Kevin Nash? Has more personality. I think
Kevin Nash had a crazy charisma.
But you got to think, he only had
really
charisma.
Did, though. He really did.
Only when he was open up and given that spot. Other than that, he was standing in a corner being Shawn Michaels.
He was charismatic as fuck. Just not even, just blank face, intimidating as hell. Did you not like? Who is that guy? And they're like, his name is Diesel. That's all you need to know.
We had the same exact thing when Roman Reigns was introduced. You got to think, it's our fault Roman Reigns is such a big thing.
Wait, what? Don't you put this on me?
It's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. It's my fault. It's all of our faults. It's our faults. When the Shield would come out and they did their stupid little powerbomb thingy, people would cheer the shit out of Roman Reigns. You know it. Everybody. When Roman Reigns was a part of the Shield and we did that whole Shield thing, Roman Reigns, people cheered.
He's like, bitch, where?
No, wait, Joe, I'm with you. But the thing about this, though, we cheered the Shield. That's like saying when DX came out, we were cheering for X-Pac. No one was cheering for X-Pac. We like the Road Dogg. Mr. Ass had his moments. Triple H was a game. X-Pac was just like, he's there. He's chopping.
You know Jezreel's favorite theme song is the Mr. Ass theme song.
Really? Not that song.
That does not surprise
He's
me.
an ass man. But like, that's the thing. So like with Roman Reigns, the thing about it was that we watched that. We were watching that. The Shield as a whole, badass. They came out, the Hounds of Justice. They have amazing matches because they all play well with each other. But I agree with you.
It's because he was the strong, silent type, where Dean was like the crazy Joker. You never know. And I think that Seth was the workhorse. I think Seth realistically was probably the best. I think I like Dean a lot too. But Roman Reigns had the same thing that Kevin Nash had. This brooding, big muscular guy that was just like a bad.
Here's the thing though, like Kevin Nash at the outset was paired with Shawn Michaels. So he so he had that foil that paired up with him. And then once they allowed him to go ahead and turn face, then he could go ahead and show that, like, oh, I actually do have a really likable, personality.
That's a different era of the WWE, though.
It is, but I'm saying that, like, I don't think Roman Reigns is going to be able to stand on his own the way that Kevin Nash
I think
did.
he could if wrestlers were allowed to just cut promos the way they used to.
See, here's the thing. I think you're both right. Because the thing about it is, I think the problem with Roman is that you're exactly right. When he was with the Shield, he was a strong silent type. That's why his catchphrase got over. It was like, believe that. Because that's all he had to say. That's all he said. Exactly. So it got over. But the thing about it is, once you put him on his own, and they were putting him in the ring having to cut promos, it's like, no, this isn't the guy we know. You have to kind of slowly build to that. And they kind of threw him in the deep end of the pool where he was still just learning how to flow.
But even what you see from Roman, though, do you like anything from him? But like, whenever he can just be...
Currently now, not really. But the reason why I believe that's why I say I think you're both right, is because Kevin Nash grew into that role. Like his last run during TNA, when he was playing like a psychologist, giving like relationship advice, all this kind of stuff, was hilarious. It's like, the hell is he doing?
Do you think is Roman that funny? Is what I'm really asking.
It's like if we were to think about this, if we were to go and hang out with Roman and put a couple of drinks in him, he's probably a pretty fun guy.
Okay, but
that's
sober.
If he gets loose though. But
sober Roman.
Roman needs time to get there. They put him in there too fast.
I don't know. See, I don't know about this because you think that I know that they did a worked shoot promo on Brock Lesnar. Roman Reigns came out like all this fire and just was like, Brock Lesnar's a bitch and this is the deal. And like he's not here. I'm here for you. Like I'm working my ass off. I don't care what you think about me. The guys in the back are working. When Roman Reigns is being real, the fans were getting behind it. And I think that's even though that was still a scripted WWE promo, they're not letting him be like. They're probably not letting him say the things that he wants to say. And
or say it the way you would want to say it.
Or say it, yeah. Because if realistically, if he were to sit there in his feud, and I think his feud with John Cena, that should be at WrestleMania. It was some shitty pay-per-view earlier this year where both of these guys went back and forth, and people were like, dude, I think they're really shitting on each other. I think they're really hit with each other. And it was a great build-up. But when, in John Cena, they had a promo, and John Cena, I mean, Roman Reigns stopped in the middle of the ring, and John Cena's like, hey, kid, you got to learn how to cut a promo. Like, you forgot your lines, pretty much, and called him out in front of everybody. And Roman Reigns just kind of was like, you're a bitch, dude. And then it went back and forth. And I think that Roman Reigns is the dude that I do want to see.
Nah, I agree with you, because here's what I think about, too. Because here's the thing. We all know Roman's a cool guy, because we've heard stories from guys in the back. And one of the main stories we've heard about is when he kicked Enzo Amore off the tour bus. Now, when he did that, people are like, oh, he was a bully, blah, blah. Like, no. He was standing up for what the company.
I don't know this story.
So Enzo Amore on the tour bus. He's got his phone on. And like, the thing is, when people are on tour bus, these guys have been touring all around, so you got to respect each other's space. Yeah. But Enzo, being the brash personality he was talking super loud. But while he's also talking, he was also apparently shitting on the company, but also bragging as well. He's like, I don't give a fuck. I do what I want to do. I'm Enzo, blah, blah, blah. But I make bank and blah, 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 da, 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 da. So this is the story that was coming out. And at some point, Roman got tired. It was like, look, dude, fuck this. You gotta get off the bus. Like, if you're gonna respect the company, you're gonna respect us. You're being a dick like this. He kicked him off the bus. And so the thing about this, though, I feel that's the real Roman Reigns. That's Roman Reigns. I agree with you. Who we saw like feud with John Cena. If he was being himself, it would help a lot better. And that's the thing we've learned with all these wrestlers. If you look at Kevin Owens is being Kevin Owens,
and he's hilarious.
He's kind of a natural jerk as dick, but he's still a cool guy who'd want to hang out with. The New Day, there are three best friends who ride together. All their jokes they have inside their cars are riding from place to place. They then bring them to the screen, so it works out. So I agree. If Roman was honestly being himself, he would probably work out a lot better.
And also think that the way that they could have built Roman, he didn't need to talk at all. Like, he can just go in there and be a badass, kick people's asses, and just promote them that way. Go home, leave through the crowd. That's it. Like,
look what they're doing with Braun right now. Like, they low-key learned from their failure with Roman Reigns. Like, with Braun barely talks. He says catchphrases. Get these hands. Braun, say my name like a Pokemon.
I mean, essentially,
Braun,
what they could have done is they could have built Roman up as the modern day Goldberg. He comes in through from the crowd, dominates some dude, and walks out from the crowd. And like, that worked for WCW in that era. Goldberg was such a badass because he had this mystique. He never really talked. I think he was one of the first modern day champions that didn't say a word to cut a promo and won the title. So they could have done this, but they didn't. And
no, they dropped.
Why do you think they don't, though?
Because I think Vince McMahon doesn't want to build another Rock, or he doesn't want to build a guy that that's going to
become bigger than the
company. I mean, you got to think John Cena's kind of that guy. I mean, it makes sense though.
Does it?
Yeah. CM Punk kind of said it the best. He knows that WWE is a machine, and he's just a spoke on the wheel. Once he's out off of that wheel, they're just going to replace him with somebody else, and that's exactly what WWE did. Look what we're doing now. We're literally talking, and it's funny because I tell this to Kevin all the time, is that had Triple H had the influence and power that he does right now, and this was back then, during the CM Punk era, CM Punk and Triple H would be best friends. Because right now, Triple H is pulling guys from the indies and being like, hey, I want to put this guy, I want to use this guy, I want to use this guy. CM Punk would have been his like, oh, this is going to be my guy. But it just so happened that Triple H was on the downside of his career being kind of over, and CM Punk was on the rise on his own, and that's a conflict because as a talent, he was like, no, I still need my spot. So
and that was kind of the problem too, is that because people try to give John Cena a lot of shit about he held guys back. No, Hunter tried to hold a lot of guys back, and he actively did so. Kurt Angle tells the story. Well, no, someone in the back tells the story that Triple H actually didn't want Kurt Angle to get over it first. He's like, I'm not going to lose to this guy. Look how small he is. And then someone's like, well, if he's so small, you fucking wrestle him. And that's when he realized, okay, this guy's legit. And he's one of the best wrestlers of all time. And something about this, though, Triple H has grown as a person. Like, I give him a lot of credit. The man that he is now is not the Hunter we had about, like, 15 years ago.
But I also think that's the kind of way that WWE kind of was back then. If you really think about the SummerSlam where Triple H was supposed to win the title, and then they turned it into a triple threat match. Austin didn't want to lose to Hunter, so Mick Foley entered the match too. He lost him. He was okay with losing to Mick. The next night on Raw, Mick did the job for Triple H. So I think back then was a different mindset of wrestling, and now I think honestly now it's more. Honestly, I don't think there's as much partying that goes on with the wrestlers. There's probably more video games, more social stuff. it must feel like you're at a con with your buddies. I feel like wrestling's changed now.
I agree with you because the thing about wrestling now is it's run by the fans.
Yeah.
It's very similar to comics. If you go to comics like 20, 25 years ago, it was a totally different vibe.
Yeah.
Stan Lee, Herb Trippy, like all those guys. But now it's all people who've come up who are fans of it, and they bring this love and passion to it. So it's like a different vibe that they have and the different respect they have for it. I think the other thing about WWE that's kind of like, it kind of hurts it right now is that there's a lack of competition. In
Oh yeah, 100%.
But
New Japan's coming up though.
Exactly. What I was about to say is like low key, them keep putting all these bad pay-per-views is actually working in New Japan's favor because it's driving more fans over that way, which is fine because what's going to happen is New Japan's going to get so big, WWE's going to have to finally recognize it and have to step their game up.
Well, I mean, you really think about this. AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura signed with the WWE 3 years ago, and both of those guys came from New Japan Pro Wrestling, and the last main event that these guys had against each other was in New Japan Pro Wrestling, the only time they ever met in a ring together. And now it's happening. This is our Wrestlemania main event is a New Japan match. I think that's crazy when you really think about it.
I love it, but the problem with it is though is that like it is like our main event,
And it gets
it's
outshined by Roman and Brock.
Exactly. This is not our real main event. It's kind of like what CM Punk said a while ago. He was like, you had the main event. It was like, no, we have 5 things we call main events. The last match of the night is the main event.
I think this should go on last.
Well, it should, but we know there's going to be Brock and a Roman, sadly.
Let me ask you this then, and Tony, you would probably be able to speak to this a little bit too. When it comes to wrestling, especially now, do you think that wrestlers are given a mandate of what to do and what not to do in the ring, not to take away from other matches that might go on after them? Because if you have this impression of like, let's say the Miz and Dolph Ziggler tear it up, and they're like, and nothing can follow that. Do you think that they get punished for that?
I don't know about punished, but they probably definitely. Punished is probably too strong a word. I definitely feel like yes, I probably feel like there is this vibe of like, all right, guys, like we're building up an entire show, and you can't just worry about your own match, which is really disappointing. Even when you were talking about how like they don't want to go ahead and build somebody up to be bigger than the company, it's like, okay, but anybody who has ever gone on to success and had their name associated like on that level, they've always become bigger than the company. You know, Hulk, The Rock, even John Cena right now. I mean, they're bigger than the company, which is, in my view, fine. But I get why that might be a problem from a managerial standpoint. But it's like, to go ahead and knowingly, cap off the potential of your employees, especially when you're in the entertainment business, it's like, you're kicking your own ass at that point. Go ahead and see what can happen, and then just moderate from there. Stop being so scared of, just
and there's nothing to be afraid of. There's no competition.
Exactly. Where are they going to go? Where are they going to go?
I think they're afraid of them leaving to Hollywood. I mean, that's the real big thing, right?
Yeah.
But again, they still come back. Anytime The Rock has come back, like, people tune in. Even like there is a bump, and that just can't be.
That's The Rock, though. But if you really think about
but I'm saying, if you have another Rock, like in the future,
but they
you have somebody
did,
else.
Honestly,
to
like John. I wouldn't say even so much John Cena, but CM Punk. CM Punk was the man. Right when he was on top of the world, he was writing for Marvel Comics. He was doing everything on the Nerdist. He was on The Talking Dead. He was doing a lot of media stuff. He could have, and he was getting a lot of. CM Punk cut a wrestling promo, and it was on ESPN.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean. Like, that is crazy to me. So
the pie bomb is infamous.
Yeah. So when you have that kind of level of talent, and then he leaves the company, he's like, no, I'm done. Fuck this company.
That's happened to AJ Lee as well.
Right. So then Vince
well.
Vince and Triple H, but Batista's another great example. Vince has to be like, all right, what the hell? And then you pretty much essentially lose Chris Jericho to New Japan Pro Wrestling too. And now people are looking at New Japan as an option to be like, this is getting Chris Jericho's there now. Like, imagine if you started getting, if Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are like, I'm done with WWE. I'm going to New Japan.
It just doesn't make any sense, because it's like, okay, nobody stays there for, what's the average lifespan of a wrestler at this level?
Where, like, in Japan, WWE, or just
in the WWE, what is the lifespan of a wrestler? Like, if they stay healthy and if they stay popular.
20 years.
It's not fine. Yeah, so it's not infinite. So you have a revolving door.
Absolutely.
Go ahead and prepare for that. Why is this a problem of you trying to keep people for... And that's if you're lucky.
Well,
For 20 years is
that's
if you're lucky.
and a top
Exactly.
guy
So
and-
even let's go ahead and say like you have someone that just
Like
like,
an
even
average,
even
like-
Stone Cold. You know, after a while it was like you were just having him cut promos just because he couldn't wrestle the way that he used to be able to wrestle because his
Or
knees were
wrestle
just
at all,
shot
yeah.
or his neck was fucking gone. Like
I agree with you because I think the reason why Vince does this is because the problem they came back was what happened in the '90s when all those guys left and went to WCW. Because all of a sudden,
WCW doesn't exist. Where are they going to go?
But
because
they're going to go to New
they're
Japan.
Exactly.
I think that
you got a
this is
vacant talent right
But
there.
if you
and
create
that's why
a company that is going to be able to like hold you up and say like I got you, even if you decide to leave me for Hollywood, you're not going to try to leave for New Japan though.
I agree with you, and I think that's the best part about New Japan is going to force them to do that.
Yeah.
Because right now they're not doing that for their entertainers. Because you got to think about like if I had to choose to be a wrestler in WWE or New Japan right now, I would honestly choose New Japan because they don't travel that much. They're pretty much
You're only there
stable.
for 6 weeks. And
Exactly.
Like you're on tour.
Exactly.
But I
so it makes
think
a lot more sense for them. Versus WWE was like your life is in shambles.
Yeah.
They don't pay for your hotel.
No.
They don't pay for your rental car. You get catering while you're there, but you're just pretty much treated like a workhorse. You also don't have a union. You're what do you call it? They're freelance or whatever. What's that called?
Yeah, they're independent contractors.
Yeah, independent contractors. So you have no union, you have no health care really.
I don't know how Vince McMahon got away with all that, by the way.
Oh, it's a hustle. It's the biggest hustle of all time. And so I think the thing about this is that that's the great thing about Kenny Omega.
That's Hulk
the Young
Hogan's
Bucks,
fault, though.
And
Yeah.
Because
Cody Rhodes.
Hulk Hogan could have unionized those guys back.
Oh, hell yeah, he
in
could
wrestling.
have.
I also think
But it's
too,
like Stan Lee as well. Sorry to bring in comics,
no.
but it's the same thing. Somebody who had the juice, the power to change things for the better.
Somebody had
dropped
the
the
what?
ball. The
Yeah.
juice, the
Juice.
power.
I thought you said something else. I was like, what? So another problem too is I don't understand that when they bought WCW, why they just didn't create their own competition and own it.
Yeah.
WCW. I really don't understand why they didn't do that. Because if you're owning your competition, you can play things to and
Yeah, it was
not
like we're
doing
going to
the
send a
WWE.
message to everybody else, and it's like, who else is there?
Yeah.
Who else is there?
Yeah.
Who is this message going to?
And I think that's the problem with Vince McMahon because I give Vince McMahon credit. He's an awesome wrestling booker, especially through the 80s, the 90s, early 2000s.
I wouldn't say so much
He-
now.
Well, yeah, that's what I said, early 2000s. I stopped after that. And he has a mind for wrestling, but when it comes to actual businessman, I think he drops the ball.
It's
because
short-term.
they've told
It's
stories
short-term
before
thinking.
where Shane was like, dude, buy ECW. Nah, we're good, we ain't gonna do that.
Short-term
He was like,
thinking.
buy UFC. Nah, we good, we ain't gonna do that. And it was just like, and then he buys WCW when the company is on his last leg. And then when he buys it, does he bring in Hulk Hogan right away? Does he bring in Nash? Does he bring in Goldberg as soon as he buys it? No, he brings all the like, not to insult them, but he brings all like the C and B list people.
How dare you call Booker T and DDP C and B list?
Ooh.
Booker T
Oh,
is a
wow.
five-time WCW champion.
Wow.
But here's the thing though. But I give him a lot of credit though. But the thing about this was that like in DDP, yoga's amazing. Stretch. But the thing about this is when it comes down to it though, is that like he makes bad decisions. He has the wrong timing. That's the reason why like I had to be surprised when people told me the stock for WWE went up this year. I was like, shit, really? And the fact he's going to invest in XFL again, and people ask me how much faith do I have in it, I'm like, barely none.
Hey, I got an idea. Let's bring back the XFL.
Guys, Jazz has dementia. We need to have an intervention. Can everybody be in the dining room, please? Bring the letters. We knew this was coming.
We rambled on a lot. We didn't like this pay-per-view.
It wasn't
Fastlane
great.
was not good. It was
Wasn't great.
boring.
Do you have faith for WrestleMania though?
Yeah, absolutely. I
Okay.
do. And the one thing
I mean, the last two pay-per-views haven't been great.
No, I'm not sour on the WWE or WrestleMania because I appreciate the fact that we're even getting a Shinsuke Nakamura AJ Styles main event. This realistically could have easily been a Intercontinental or United States title match for the WWE, and I wouldn't have been surprised if they would have went in that direction. But I like the fact that Vince McMahon or whoever's making decisions there is like, you know what? The main title is with AJ and Brock. Let's really give the wrestling fans something that they do want. In terms of that, I think they are listening to certain things that we do want. I know that people want more out of Finn Balor, but he did that. We got a reunited Balor Club, which is a watered down version of the Bullet Club. But at least they did it, right? At least they have Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson doing something.
I think the problem with it is though is that it's not their fault. They reunited them because I think we were supposed to go to a stable feud, but then Ambrose got injured.
Yeah,
and I think that kind of like made things like fall apart and whatnot. So I agree with you. I think they are working in the right direction. And to be honest with you, I'm actually looking forward to the day after WrestleMania because the day after
best
WrestleMania,
crowds.
exactly, that's going to be amazing. But there's going to be a lot of premieres that can really shake things up because like the tag division, especially on Raw, there's barely any tag teams.
like
there.
Drew McIntyre.
Oh, was he? Isn't he injured?
I think he's back.
Nothing. Is he back?
He's back.
Okay, so Drew, I'm looking forward to all this pain possibly premiering, and I'm really looking forward to possibly premiering after WrestleMania. Johnny wrestling himself, That man is like he has that Finn Balor juice. And the thing about it is when Finn Balor came in, he had the crowd. That Finn Balor juice.
Not Jews, because I know it's what you keep on hearing.
But I think if he comes in right, they can book him in the right way. Maybe go to SmackDown or something like that and carry some stuff up. But we're about to wrap up now, right?
Mm-hmm, in just a second. You have a little. You can.
Well, I was gonna say, like, if we think about like WWE, because we're leading up to WrestleMania, because in wrestling, the year is pretty much as measured in WrestleMania, from WrestleMania to WrestleMania. What do you think has been the biggest up of this year, and what do you think has been the biggest botch of this year by the company?
I think the biggest up of this year for the company has been the influx of indie talent that they've been targeting and getting. I think that they're smart. Triple H, I really should say, is smart enough to realize that, hey, WWE is taking all my big names from NXT. I need to start getting more guys in here. And I think, listen, I wouldn't have thought we were going to see War Machine. I wouldn't have thought we were going to see Ricochet, Adam Cole, you know, Bobby Fish, all these cats, Bobby Roode. Like, there's a lot of dudes. There's a lot of people in here that I'm actually really shocked WWE has right now. Like Eric Young is doing at the top of his game again. It's crazy to me what WWE has and what they're doing and how they can just keep doing it. And I think Triple H. I feel if WWE is in Triple H's hands eventually, it's in a good place.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, I can't speak as to like the biggest, highlight because, I'm just jumping back into this. Biggest botch, though, definitely for me is the Brock and Roman match at WrestleMania. Just because, listen, I am brand new, so I rely on you guys a lot. And it's not just us three in this room, but literally everybody in this room hasn't been able to give me a reason to be excited about this match. And it's not like all of you have the same opinions either. You all are very, very vocal about your own very individual opinions. And nobody that I've talked to has been able to say, like, yeah, it's going to be fine. Or they can't even say it's going to be fine. They're just sort of like, yeah, that's a thing that's going to happen at WrestleMania.
I hope and pray that it opens the show. I know it won't, but I hope it does. I really hope.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we're not getting this out early. Hey, y'all, let's do some neat. We'll come back.
As pretty as I find Roman, I'm just sort of like, I don't. No. And then Brock, I'm like,
well, let me ask you a question because our producer Junior was a huge fan. Well, just one question real quick, and then you go. Our producer Junior was really a big advocate on wanting to see The Undertaker this year against John Cena. Do you really want to see The Undertaker in one more match? He didn't look great in the last time we saw him.
I wouldn't want to see him with Cena.
I wouldn't want to see him right now. The thing about this is that I would want to give him like some time because he needs to get in shape. And I think like he just started training right now. They've shown from Instagram, whatever. And I think it's too soon. I think he needs to come back to a bit more fanfare. Maybe like a year, 2 years, maybe he comes back. But like right now, I think it's too soon.
Or maybe just
why are you shaking your head? What is that about?
Maybe he just shouldn't come back.
Hey, Bruce Pritchard said he looks like he's in the best shape of his life.
Okay.
He's been working out for like 6 months.
Great.
6 months. Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
So
Wonderful.
He's in shape.
Okay.
Okay.
He's gonna be not like the Taker from last year.
Yeah.
Okay, so if he's coming back for one
see?
last match, who should he be with then?
Be Cena.
I hope.
Do you
not.
want that to be with Cena though?
No, but that's.
I
Do
don't.
you
want
really
that.
want to see The Undertaker come back? Because if he makes a fool out of himself again,
I don't think he would.
I don't think, and I listen.
Who would you pair him though?
He's a
If
great
it's not
wrestler.
Cena?
I'm never going to take anything away from that dude. With that being said,
Like, it's easy.
You got to know when to hang it up. And I think that's the one thing I respect about that guy is that he knows when time is done. He knows, and he left so perfect last year. He put his hat in his thing,
Played the song,
and he walked out. It's like he always says it's that gunslinger like on your back. Like falling out of that gunslinger that lost at the OK Corral, and you go out on your back. And I think that he did that last year.
Yeah.
Why do you need to do it again?
No.
You don't.
If I had to choose his last match, the way I would want to be, like a passing the torch. Because the problem with this is I respect Roman, but the thing about this is again, he's just not there to carry the company. People just kind of hate him too much. But if they booked this guy right and he came out of his persona, I would love to see him have that match with Undertaker where he retires. Finn Balor's a demon.
I do too, actually.
That is the passing the torch
and because
right there.
Finn could carry that. I think Finn's good enough to carry that. Because he can work around the Undertaker's inabilities.
Exactly.
The Undertaker can stay in one spot and Finn will just move around.
Exactly. He just be like, when I kick you, just fall.
And you get the dead man against the demon. That right there is
exactly.
That's money.
Can I ask a question though? One thing I do notice about this new generation of wrestling is like the lack of really emotional storylines. I feel like every time, especially for WrestleMania, all of these stories used to be really really like deep with like all this history and all this emotion, and like now it's
like
just
when Triple H fucked Katie Vick in that coffin. And for that one? Anybody?
No, but you know what I mean. Like it used to be like the melodrama just was like there, and like now I just feel like it's just feuds, or just like the way that like all of these twists and turns, and now this is what's happening.
Well, I kind of dig that because I feel like it's the UFC
I don't know. Am I
thing
wrong about that?
with competition. Like it's you want to see the like AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura don't necessarily have like a rivalry.
Yeah.
But it's more so of that UFC style of like, oh man, these two guys are badass fighters. I want to see them fight. Or Asuka and Charlotte's a great example because both of those girls, we know that they're badass chicks that can get in the ring and put on a great match. It's like, yes, that's the match I want to see. Instead of having it relied so much upon a storyline.
Okay.
I agree with you, but I kind of like both though because because I think that's what Triple H is learning right now. Because on NXT, there's not really that many storylines. It's mostly just like we're gonna put these two amazing people in the ring together. They're going to dislike each other because they want to win this belt or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're gonna wrestle it out. And I think
it's a competition rather than a story.
Exactly. I think Triple H is still learning the aspects you need to put that storyline in there because one of the best storylines of last year were Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens when they had their match at WrestleMania and they had like the Festival of Friendship and all these things.
Great.
It was just so awesome. You were so invested to it. Everything leading up to that point just kind of brought you in. Oh, and before we have to sign off, also my highlight from this year, the treatment of the women's division.
Yeah.
Like having the first women's Royal Rumble, the first women's Elimination Chamber, the first women's like Money in the Bank. I think they've done a great job with that. So that's like my highlight for this year. So I'm giving a lot of props. But at the same time, though, my down of this year is also the treatment of the women's storylines. Because the problem with this is they've done these amazing matches with these women, given them many opportunities. Yeah, well, yeah. But they haven't given me storylines to buy into. Like I said earlier, Carmella has the Money in the Bank, and she's not kind of being wasted right now. So I think that's what they need to work on. They're giving the women the matches and the television time, which is leading them in the right step, but now they give them the storylines to back it up.
So what do you think happens with the women's, with now that Asuka's challenging Charlotte, what do you think is going to happen with Alexa?
Good question. I think the problem with Alexa, she's going to get pulled into that Sasha Banks Bailey feud.
Do you? It's triple threat?
Maybe because we just saw earlier.
I was almost hoping that Nia turns on her.
Nia
and then
Jax?
We get the Nia Jax Alexa Bliss match.
But yeah, honest with you though, I could see it be a 4-way. Like Nia Jax, Sasha, Bailey, and Alexa Bliss.
And then after that, Carmella cashes in on the
Raw's
Women's
Exactly. That would see happening because she needs to cash in before WrestleMania, or at least before Money in the Bank, so I can see her cashing in. Because they did kind of remind her because she tried to cash in 3 weeks ago to a failed opportunity. So I think that's really they're trying to put it in her mind.
All right, guys. Well, we talked a lot about wrestling. This was a great conversation. Thanks for joining me. Where can we find each one of you guys on social media?
You guys can find me at the Tony Sanchez on everywhere. It's Tony with an I, Sanchez with a Z.
You can find me at JohnnyP313 on Twitter and Instagram. Come hang out, send me a message. Hell of the chat.
And you can find me at that hashtag Joe on social media and also over at Screen Rant. And please like, share, and subscribe to this video if you're a wrestling fan. But that's going to do it for us, guys. Thank you so much. The wrestling show is back this Tuesday. You're doing it with Kevin?
I'll be there.
Calling it in the ring. And you're going to give us the fallout and where we actually go to WrestleMania now. But that's going to be this Tuesday, so check it out. And also coming up later on Monday is a Twitch stream, Jezzer's Twitch stream. So that'll be on Monday. You could check out our Twitch channel. That is that hashtag show on Twitch. Check out Jezzer. He's going to be streaming. I don't know if it's cosplay or an actual video game, but it'll be a lot of fun. But check that out.
And don't forget, Angel Grove Prom. Get your tickets ready. It's going to be awesome. VIP packages. I'm getting a limo. It's about to be lit.
Yeah, and send in your promposals to THS. No, send them in to your promposals into our Facebook page on obviously on Facebook. Our Facebook page. Leave us a message and have that proposal in there, or you can put them in fan questions at thathashtagshow.com. Again, that is fan questions at thathashtagshow.com. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, please like, share, and subscribe to the video to stay up to date with everything trending in geek pop culture.